Hey guys, we got a special guest with us today. We have Neo from Definition Cigars. How you doing, brother?
I'm great, man. It feels good to actually be here with you.
Nice, man. We talked for, it's months now.
Exactly.
And, I've been a big fan of your cigars. Actually, that maroon band, which one's that called?
This is called the Conception.
I think that's my favorite one so far.
This is honestly my go-to in our brand. This is one I probably smoke the most out of all of our cigars.
Well, it's funny because I was talking to one of our Light 'em Up crew members earlier this morning. Mm-hmm. His name's Batch. And I was asking if he'd smoked your cigars, and he was like, yeah, I smoked that one and a couple of other ones, but that was his favorite as well.
Yeah.
So the Maroon Band, that's what I call it, but it's actually called the Inception?
No, Conception.
Conception. Yeah. Gotcha.
Because the Condega wrapper from Nicaragua is from the Concepcion area of Nicaragua near the volcanoes.
Nice.
So that's why it's a different type of Maduro.
I love that wrapper, man. That wrapper's nice.
Beautiful.
Can you hold it up and let everybody see it?
Yeah.
Slide it up towards the camera. There you go. Gotcha. Yeah, that's a nice looking stick.
It is, man.
So your line is actually pretty large line now.
It's grown a lot.
It has grown.
It's grown a lot. We have a lot more faces than when we started 2 years ago, and a lot of that is really just the growth we had in 2020. You know, we really owe a lot to people like you, anyone that's bought our cigars over the last year for us to survive what 2020 was for everybody.
Yeah, the pandemic could have put you under.
It really
could
have.
But it was really a growing stage for you guys.
An immense growing stage for us. It's really been, a lot of learning, a lot of trial and error, and a lot of just, us staying together as a crew and really trying to make this thing grow and let it be about the brand and not about us. That's when I had friends that like a year after we were in business had no idea I was behind the brand at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I guess for me, I'm a very low key dude anyway. And most of my guys are like, we from the beginning, we were like, we don't want it to be about us.
Well, I hung out with three of you guys last night and all three of you are pretty laid back, low key, not like Bryant. Yeah, because that headphone's not hooked up.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Thank you for interrupting. You're good. No, it's recording on that board over there, dear. Okay. I marry the two up later.
Okay. Sorry, y'all.
She's new. My regular camera guy, it's Easter weekend. Mm-hmm. He's out of town with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which is also my son. So anyway, Deborah interrupted the show. We'll keep going. But anyway, so tell me a little bit about your history before Definition Cigars, even before cigars. Oh. Like where'd you grow up?
Okay, I'm originally from Dallas, Texas.
Okay, cool.
From the Oak Cliff area. I lived there until I was 18. Then I moved. I went to college at Prairie View A&M University. Actually, my degree is in mechanical engineering.
Oh, wow.
And my first job out of college was at a cement plant in Theodore, Alabama, outside of Mobile. So I lived there, I honestly moved there right before Hurricane Katrina hit.
Oh, wow.
So my mom was freaked out for a couple of days because she couldn't get in touch with me. But when she got in touch with me, I was like, Mom, I'm fine. I just lost power, but I'm good. I actually lost power for a day throughout that whole entire disaster. And I moved to Houston in 2008. And then I've been back home in Dallas in the Lancaster area since 2011.
Now, what did you do while you were in the Houston area?
I was a sales engineer for a pipe company.
Okay.
And we made pipe for oil drilling, but we also made pipe for signposts, whether it was the round pipe or square perforated pipe for like safety signs, for stop signs, for highway signs. And so I dealt with the Department of Transportation in many states and also with, different contractors as well, too.
It's crazy when you actually think about how many things require signs.
Yes.
My best friend's a sign maker in Lubbock, Texas. Mm-hmm. He works for Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. And you're like, how many signs can there be? Dude, coronavirus, gun law changes, just names of rooms. It's like, dude, he's making signs all day, every day.
Honestly, at that time, I learned that no other state has more signage per road mile than the state of Texas.
Really?
Like people from other big states would come to Texas and learn about how we do our signage, the reflectivity of signs. So people because you have more older drivers on the road, so you want to be sure they can see signs at night once their lights hit the sign. So I learned about the traffic industry. I was like, it was one of those things where I learned a different pocket of a different industry, and now I've been selling kitchen cabinets for 10 years.
And with the signs though, it's like when you're just driving down the road, you don't even think about it.
No.
But there's a lot of science that goes behind just the signs.
Yes.
That's crazy, man.
It is. And for us, we also sold the breakaway systems. So if a car hit a signpost, instead of it like wrapping itself around a Schedule 80 signpost, it would break away from the base. So that way it was a safety measure. And so I sold that here in Texas, Louisiana, in Michigan, and other states as well too. So, it was a definite learning experience. And then I went from engineering to sales and engineering to straight sales now as a sales rep for a cabinet manufacturer.
So you sell what kind of cabinets now?
Kitchen cabinets, bathroom cabinets, mainly special order, and also in-stock cabinets at Home Depot.
Is that mainly for like home use?
Home use, commercial use. I mean,
Okay.
I've sold to. I'm actually working on an apartment project right now in Houston at one of my stores in Arlington. So, yeah, it's really for people that we even do office cabinets as well.
So you're a regular working dude just like us.
Yes, of course.
I mean, we all enjoy the cigar community.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're all working guys.
Yeah.
And that's with all your partners too.
Yeah, we're all working guys, and we all have different industries that we work in. From education to logistics to sales to IT, and so we all bring something different to the table. And I tell people all the time, I would not have done this without these four guys at all. Like, we all bring something unique to the table to where we've thrived the last 2 years.
Now, how did you guys get together in the beginning?
It really was an idea from my good friend Jamal, who worked part-time at a cigar lounge. And he used that time to learn about the industry, talk to reps, talk to, shop owners as well, brand owners as well. And so, he was like, man, he and my boy Jerwin were like, we can do this. We just need to take the steps in order to do it. But why not us? Why not us coming up with a cigar brand? And they reached out to me because they were like, Neo, like, we want you to be on the team because you travel, you smoke all types of cigars. So I was known for posting my cigars on Instagram all the time. And I would have big name brands, but I love boutiques. And they were like, you have a palette. Like, you have a palette that would really help us kind of grow as far as what kind of cigars to bring to the table. And I was like, at the time in my life, I was able to invest in something like this. And I was like, I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
And then we brought on Jaman, because Jaman is a numbers guy. He's a great numbers guy, and we needed somebody on our team for that aspect. And my boy Chad, Chad's one of those guys that people kind of gravitate towards him.
He's a people person.
Yeah, he is. He's a teacher too. So
okay,
he's a
cool.
teacher as well. So like he's a very personable guy.
So you have all these different backgrounds coming together.
Yes.
And it's kind of cool because you can like you also are a salesperson.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of experience in sales.
Mm-hmm.
You got other people who are logistics. You have other people who are face to face. I mean, all these backgrounds bringing together is a perfect unit.
It is. I mean, I wouldn't have done it without these guys. And for us, it really allowed us to stay together as a crew when we had our valleys, and then but staying humble when we hit those peaks. And not resting on our laurels, but always trying to improve, always trying to bring something good, and staying true to the idea of definition of cigars is like making sure that people know that they can define their own cigar experience, and to make it a more inclusive thing. Because that's one thing that I got into as I've only been smoking cigars 8 years, and I know they've been smoking longer than I have, but just the idea of learning about, hey, this is what, in my mind, my mental model was, hey, this is something that older guys did. Because when I worked in as an engineer, it'd be like the older guys that worked in the plants that always had cigars in their mouths.
Right.
So whenever they took a break, they just light it up, And so for me, I'm like, I was 30 years old, and I'm like, how can I get into cigars? And I tried one at a sales meeting in Fort Myers, Florida. I went to a nice cigar bar by this sushi restaurant we went to after dinner, and I didn't get hooked immediately, but I just liked the atmosphere. And
you
then
enjoyed the community.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I ended up maybe a month later going to a cigar lounge in Austin, the Old Heroes and Legacies. And I asked questions. I was like, I really want to try to get into this because I want to have a way to kind of relax because it was a chaotic time in my life, you know, and I'm like, I just needed something to do to kind of relax at the end of the day. And I just asked questions and I'm like, hey, I'm a whiskey guy. What's a good cigar to drink with whiskey? And the tobacconist just showed me different cigars to try and I love it.
Speaking of whiskey, you see we have a few.
Yes.
Would you like one or are you good?
I would like some.
Okay, awesome. I had a couple of glasses in here for you. Is there any certain one you'd like to try?
I would like to try the double oak.
I saw you had your eye on that one. And I was just talking about that earlier with the guys.
Yeah.
I was like, it has so much flavor.
It does.
I mean, the regular Woodford Reserve is really good, but this double oak, I was like, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's full of flavor.
Yeah.
Here you go, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that. So yeah, I mean that's how it started with me, you know, getting into cigars, and you know from there it was really more of, you know, I guess preparing me for being in the business. You know, as far as I've met different vendor reps, I've met different owners, and having those conversations with people like, I'm a fan of your cigars, like, you know, what is it about it that makes your cigars unique and everything like that? And for us, it was like, we're a group of cigar smokers. This is not a casual thing for us. This is what we do at each other's homes, on somebody's patio, at a cigar lounge. Like we're friends that did this anyway.
Right. Whenever I think of a good Friday night or a good Saturday night, I don't think I want to go to a bar.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything I would rather do than go hang out with my cigar friends
Exactly.
and smoke cigars.
Exactly.
And the great thing about it is when I do that, I make new friends.
Exactly.
I mean, like the first time I met you in person,
Yeah.
I was sitting back with some other people I had never met before.
Really?
And we're
Okay.
having a great time.
Awesome.
And then I met you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's the way the cigar community works.
And that's one thing that, you know, because for a lot of people, our brand has been like their introduction to cigars. You know, we sell at different in public in different places, and people are like, I've never had a cigar before, and we walk them through everything, and they're like, yeah, we'll cut it and light it for you so you can get used to it, and like, don't inhale, you know, just pull on it and blow it out. And so we're kind of like a cigar tutorial for a lot of people as well too. But it's like part of that is just our personalities as individuals. You know, we don't want anybody to feel like I said, defining the experience of smoking cigars is like, you don't want to make somebody feel rejected.
Right.
You know, you want them to feel comfortable because, as you said, you can meet somebody you've never known before and you walk out as friends because of cigars a lot of times. And for me, it's been like that for years. It's always been like that.
And you know, one of the things I love about being in a cigar community is it's a huge network.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, all of a sudden, I need a plumber.
Yeah.
Hey, which one of you guys knows a plumber?
Exactly.
Bam. I got a plumber I know that I can trust because this guy told me the guy's a good plumber.
But that's what happened with us on Tuesday. We did a private event for a social organization. And a good friend of mine who grew up with my sister, he's like a younger brother to me. He was like, hey, man, I want to put you in touch with someone because he said he wanted cigars for his event. He's like, I know a guy. And the guy happened to be one of my fraternity brothers as well too, so it worked out well. And we had a good time. We brought a good atmosphere. The owner of the coffee shop that we were at said, "Hey, we would love for you guys to do a cigar etiquette night, you know, so get people comfortable with the idea on the patio." Or the organizers of the event, they were like, you know, whenever we need cigars for any of our events, we'll reach out to you. I'm like, hey, let us know, you know. And we made 2 business connections in one night just for being us. You know, not doing anything special, just like setting up, having cigars ready, having cutters and lighters available for people that didn't have any. And there were people that have heard about us. There were people that had not heard about us. And they bought cigars anyway. They were like, hey, I might not smoke it now, but I'll take it home and try it later and put it in my humidor. So, you know, it's really, the community is amazing and the community is growing, especially, you know, amongst women, amongst black women, amongst younger black people. Cause I've had like, you know, younger cousins that reach out to me and they want to try cigars, my nephews. I'm like, yeah, like whenever you guys want to do it, I'll walk you through everything.
Yeah. And you know, for me, I'm 52. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, to me, you were a younger guy.
Yeah.
But it's great to see the 20-something guys
exactly
starting to come in. We've got a good friend that listens to the show. We call him Young Buck, but his name's John. And he's 21, and he's smoking cigars on video hearse with us, and he's smoking good sticks.
Nice.
And I love seeing young people understand the community.
Exactly.
Because it's not smoking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
you could take away the cigar and leave us in the community and we'd have a great time. But what brought us together was the cigar.
Exactly. And I mean, it's one thing that a good friend of mine that actually, was kind of responsible for bringing me and my partners together in some way, as far as like a place to kind of hang out and converse and kind of that community for cigar smoking. I always said that, during my time smoking cigars is, I consider, the last true bastion of being a gentleman in the world today, where being a gentleman is expected and accepted, to where you have more and more women cigar smokers. Regardless of that, you may have all the tools in the world and everything, have the knowledge. If you're in my presence, you're not going to cut and light your own cigar. That's just me. And that's how we are. So our friends that like to hang out with us and smoke with us, they know, hey, if
there Deborah goes interrupting the show again. Yes, ma'am. I see that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Deborah notices that you're not wearing a ring. So that gives you the freedom to travel more, not being tied down. Or are you tied down?
No. I travel just because. Actually, I haven't traveled as much because of how COVID normally does. Has changed everything.
Oh, it's crazy.
Even with my job, and my job changed 3 years ago to where I didn't have as big of a sales territory as I did before. But I've been coming to Abilene like for 12 years, even with my previous job. So coming out far west, or this far west, is like, I'm kind of like used to it. So I've seen how much this area has grown. And so when I met you guys, and Brian and Jay at the Leaf, it's like, I was surprised at how much Abilene has grown in this area. We recently, Jay moved. Yeah.
And the new shop is just so nice compared to the old shop, which was like cozy and home.
Yeah.
But this one is like kicking it up like 10 notches.
Yeah. Cause I would come into town, I would stop by and get cigars, but I wouldn't stay and smoke. I may have stayed and smoked maybe one time, but yeah, it was like, to be able to like work here in town and have a place to go after I'm done working to hang out and have a cigar is amazing. That's what I've always tried to do in my travels, have a place to where I could, when I travel to Austin, have a place to go. If I was in Louisiana, I had a place to go, so that kind of stuff.
Now, what part of Louisiana did you go to?
I used to go all the way to Monroe, but I mainly go to Shreveport, Bossier now.
Okay.
And so there are a few spots out there that I go to just to hang out, because I know one place I know it's an ownership group. I know half the owners.
Oh, okay.
And so they're good friends, because I used to come into town and hang out and smoke cigars with them anyway. So when they finally went into the business and opened a cigar lounge, I'm like, hey, right around that time, Definition Cigars are starting to build up. And I was like, whenever you guys need cigars, we're here. Cause I know, kind of keeping in mind about different states, once we start expanding outside of Texas, it's just like everybody has different tobacco taxes. Right. I see why people love coming to Texas to get cigars.
Yes.
Like my friends in Louisiana will drive all the way to Longview to Tobacco Junction just to get cigars because it's cheaper. It's worth the hour drive.
That much cheaper.
It was for them. They're like, man, it's worth the hour drive. They have a huge selection of cigars, and it was cheaper. And for me, it'd be like a cigar I would get for like $8 or $9 here in Louisiana would be like 13.
Wow.
Yeah, just that's how high the taxes were. I remember going to a cigar lounge off Canal Street, New Orleans. And I saw and it was maybe a year into smoking cigars. So I smoked LFDs a lot. And I was like, why is this LFD $14? Why? That's the kind of, I was just like, so when I realized, when we are able to get into other states, it's an accomplishment, because that means we were able to, meet that customer at a price point to where they were still able to make money.
Yeah.
Because I'm like Illinois, California, Louisiana,
New York.
Yeah.
Dude, they're paying 75% tax.
It's amazing. And that's one thing, you learn. I mean, I had an idea about it as a cigar smoker, but now being in the business, it's like, oh, yeah, that's something to keep in mind, to where it's like, it's not just like sometimes it can be as quick as a conversation and you're in a cigar lounge. Sometimes it takes time. It takes conversations.
Well, and that's something that we're talking about on this actual episode with me and Bryant is make sure that you are part of Cigar Rights of America.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to pass a bill right now where they're wanting to tax federal tax on cigars at like 1,000%.
Yeah, I've been a member 5 years.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been a CRA member for 5 years. So yeah, I get the emails all the time. I pay attention to that, and so did we, because we were worried about the whole changes in taxes and we started. We just got started as a business, and we were worried about that. We were like, oh my god, is are we not even going to be able to be in business? That's what made last year such a good thing, for us. It was like, we were like, we got through 2020. It's such a great way. Thinking the year before, may not be able to be in business,
right? Because
of the taxes and all the issues with the FDA and everything like that. So
we just need the political people to keep their hands out of the pie.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
If we can get that to be accomplished, then we're home run.
Because I looked at that even as a consumer, even before we got into the business. It's like, I don't want it to be harder for me to get cigars,
right?
Or buy cigars. I'm not trying to get Cubans. I smoke Nicaraguan. Right. It's no big deal to me.
Legal.
It's legal. The stuff that's legal. So
yeah.
So for me, and even get into the business, we were like, oh my god, it's like that was something always in the back of our mind whenever we met together and we're planning things and getting different phases of cigars. We're just hoping that the price doesn't skyrocket because of taxes.
Right.
And thankfully, it hasn't been to that point. But I definitely keep my eye on that. I'll probably renew my membership soon anyways. I think it expires this month actually. So, but I've been a member for 5 years.
And that's about the same for me.
Yeah.
And once I found out about him, and we've had back when Glenn Loop was the executive director for him, we've had him on the show many times for updates.
Okay.
And, I love the PCA and Cigar Rights of America because they keep us informed on the legal front.
I love it. Yeah.
And I tell you what, I wish we had Mark Rubio in Texas because he understands the cigar industry.
Yes.
To where Senator Ted Cruz needs to pull his head out of his ass.
I agree.
Because he's not helping us on the cigar front at all.
I know.
And I'm not a political guy.
Yeah.
But when it gets into you messing with my cigars, now I'm a little political.
I mean, and especially with how many boutique brands like ours are from Texas.
Right.
Or like they're based in Texas. And it's like Texas has been a breeding ground for cigar brands the last 5 or 6 years.
Oh, yeah. I've got to think there's at least probably 10 to 12 cigar companies in Texas.
Yeah. I mean, I've known Ryan Rodriguez from Ohana for years. So I used to buy cigars all the time. And of course you got a Black Label trading company based out of Texas.
And you got the Rojas, you got McAuliffe, you got
Ezra Zion.
Yeah. You have Roma Craft.
Yeah. Skip and Mike are great guys, yeah.
Southern Draw,
yeah.
I mean, the list goes on and on. Oh, and also the War Fighters.
Yes.
They were established in Nebraska, and when they saw how cheap it was in Texas, they moved their whole facility down there.
Exactly. I'm not surprised by that. But I mean, that we've been a breeding ground for cigar brands for the last 5 or 6 years, and it's like because I've seen them grow,
right.
And I've been supporting them, and they've supported me.
And that's why I want to keep the federal tax off of the cigars.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was actually talking to another cigar shop owner this morning, and from Enfuegos. And I was talking to him about it, and we were talking about that, the taxation on a federal level. And I said, isn't it crazy that they're allowing marijuana sales nationwide? Well, all the states that vote on it.
Yeah.
But because it's not legal federally, there's no tax on it.
Exactly.
So and last year alone, marijuana was $17.5 billion in sales.
Yeah.
Look at the tax revenue they're missing on a drug that's illegal in America.
Yeah.
Not states, but on the federal level.
Yeah.
And now you want to come mess with my cigars.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
I agree with that. So,
well, hey, man, thanks for joining us on the show. I'm going to get one of your partners on here.
No
We're
problem,
going to talk with him for a minute. But thank you so much. How's that bourbon?
It's good. It's been a while since I've had the double oak, man. It's great.
It's powerful in flavor. Smooth, but good in flavor.
Man, but it's good talking to you, Rob. Thanks for having me on, man.
Always, man. Thank you. It was good hanging out with you last night, too.
Yeah, same here.
All right, brother. Thanks. Welcome back. We have another special guest from Definition Cigars. We got the one and only Chad. What's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot. Down here in Abilene, having a good time. Looking forward to our cutting light here at the Leaf in a few hours. So,
hey, man, let's pull that mic up real close to you.
Right here.
Ah, good.
All right, gotcha.
So you're in town for a cutting light at the Leaf.
Yes, sir.
And the Leaf started carrying Definition Cigars, about 4 months ago? 5 months ago? 5. And I think we've had some good success with the Definition Cigars out of the Abilene shop.
Oh yeah. The Leaf has been a real good supporter and customer of Definition Cigars. So Man, we're just looking forward to going out this afternoon, meeting some of the people who've been supporting us, and kind of see what we, see how we can grow it and see what's going on, man. So
nice. So I want to know a little bit about your history. We're before cigars, before Definition Cigars, even before cigars. Like, where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Dallas, kind of split time. Grew up originally in Oak Cliff, moved out to DeSoto. So me and Neo didn't grow up, real far apart.
Now, I don't know where DeSoto is. Where's that at?
DeSoto is right south of I-20.
Okay.
It's basically right on the other side. So Lancaster, DeSoto, Duncanville, they all kind of meshed together.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay, cool, man. And so I got to ask you this. What year did you graduate high school?
1999.
All right. I thought you were going to say like
save the best for last.
I thought you were going to say like 2010.
Oh, hell no. Yeah.
He looks like a young man.
Right. I got gray hair in my beard, man. So, yeah. 1999. They had to save the best for last.
So how did you get into smoking cigars originally?
Originally, we kind of all started with, smoking with Cigar Boys Club. So honestly, it was just curiosity. So used to see a lot of people doing it, and I wasn't a real big smoker at the time. So, started off with Connecticut's, trying to, get my palate wet.
Right.
And, and over time, kind of grew up and graduated to, more medium full and full-bodied cigars. So I probably started smoking about 8-9 years ago. But since then, it's been a real passion and a habit.
It's a great journey, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, especially when you start, like you said, you start out with Connecticut's, nothing too bold, and that's good because that's the way I recommend a lot of young smokers to start out is like something light, Connecticut, some naturals. And that's not how I started. I started full blown.
Oh, you went straight,
kick you in the balls, yeah.
Straight to the mountaintop.
And the bad thing about doing that is you ruin your palate because that's all you know. And then whenever I'd been smoking probably for like 3 or 4 years, I was like, well, what is it, a Connecticut? So then I would smoke Connecticut's and, they were super light.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, that's not for me. But then I started experiencing with some other Connecticut's, and I found some Connecticut's that actually had a lot of flavor.
Right.
And so I kind of did it backwards from everybody else. And so I love cigars from the darkest full body cigar all the way to the lightest shade Connecticut, as long as it has flavor. And so that's where I am now. And I mean, it's like, wow, look at that. I missed out in the beginning when everybody else was doing it the right way. I kind of did it the wrong way, or at least a different way.
Right. So do you remember the first cigar that you actually smoked or one of the ones up top that you kind of got introduced to? Because
the way I started was me and a good friend that had been best friends for 30-something years. We would get together about once every 3 months, and we would go to the cigar shop. We didn't know nothing, and we would spend $20 on a cigar because we were like, if you spend $20, it's got to be something good, right? And we would go out and smoke it because we thought that was cool. And I really didn't catch on to cigar smoking for probably about 2 years, and I smoked a Christoph. And after smoking that Christoph, I was like, holy shit, that was good. And then I was hooked ever since. And so I don't remember the first cigar. The 2 cigars I remember is when I smoked the Christoph, and in 2016, I smoked a cheap bamboo Sinclair cigar, but I smoked it with my dad before he passed away on the front porch. So those are my 2 most memorable cigars. How about you? What was your first cigar?
I think it was which one is the, it might be a Leva G.
Oh, yeah. Right. I just gave her one.
Right. So that was one of my introductory cigars. And I smoked a few other Connecticut's. One of the ones I liked was the Caldwell Eastern Standard.
Oh, great smoke.
So that Connecticut provided a little more, it was a little more robust, a little more flavor to it than the Leva G. And then I kind of grew from there. But yeah, that was my thing. I was like, 'cause I remember the first time I walked in the cigar shop, I was like, because you hear a lot of stuff about cigars. My dad was like, oh, I heard they make you sick and make you dizzy and this and that. So I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I really want to get into that.
Have you ever accidentally inhaled?
Yes.
Well, that will make you sick.
You're right. Right. Yes. Especially earlier on in my smoking, experience. You kind of you smoke, inhale, retro, and you cough.
Oh man! Sometimes when I've had a lot to drink, I'll accidentally just get a little bit, and I'm like, "Whew, almost did that."
Oh yeah.
And because if you do, man, it's rough.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, whenever they started getting guys together to start Definition Cigars, right. What were you thinking on that? I mean, were you like, I don't know about this. Does this sound like a great idea? I've got a bunch of good dudes here. What was your thought process?
I mean, my personal thought process, of course, I think initially you may be a little skeptical, just considering, how grand the scape is of cigars. It's tons of them.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I think it's kind of like, where will we fit in amongst, all of the giants? But I did have faith in the people that we assembled together, that we would curate a good cigar, because we have a range of smoking experience, smoking palates. So I knew once we found something, kind of that we all agreed upon, it would be a good smoke to start with. So,
well, one of the things that I love about the group of guys that you have behind Definition Cigars is that you all have different backgrounds. You have some guys that are number guys. You have some guys that are sales guys. I heard you were a teacher.
Yes, teacher and a coach.
So, I mean, all of you guys bring a special quality to the team that if you just had all cigar guys, you just have all cigar guys. But you draw from each other because each one of you have your strong suit.
Right. Yeah. No doubt. So it's funny because we, like Tuesday, I have a middle school soccer meeting with the district. So I'm hoping once they put the schedule out, it doesn't impact my ability to be able to kind of travel around with cigars and help out, as I see fit. But the team we've assembled is a great group of guys, and like I said, man, we were all friends and smoked together before we went into business.
Right.
So I think that in itself makes it a lot easier to do business. So again, we even if we may not all agree on something, at the end of the day, whatever decision we come to is going to be for the betterment of the company.
Gotcha.
Right, and that's a lot easier to do when you have friendships and relationships with people. All of these guys have been to my parents' house. We've all ate together. So that's something.
So you are close.
Oh yeah. So it makes it easier to work through adversity when you have a friendship versus if it's just 5 random people.
So y'all, look, there's 5 of you.
Right.
Y'all hold things to a vote.
Yeah,
because there's a tiebreaker if you got 5.
Hey, majority rule. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, yeah. And see, like with Cigar Talk, I'm the only vote. So we're not a democracy on this side. So, no, that's cool, though, because, I mean, the way you guys formed a company with guys that are so close-knit, and, I mean, that's a rarity, man.
Right. Yeah. It's good. I think it's a blessing, man, to be able to work. We all call each other, these are my brothers. So even though we, didn't come from the same set of parents, we've all found commonality, with cigars and with our bond and friendship. So it makes it a lot easier to, to do business.
Now, who's the oldest of the 5?
Jerwin.
Yeah,
Jerwin.
And who's
Jerwin
the youngest?
Be Neo.
Right.
Neo's
all
the
right.
youngest.
So he's
Everybody
the
else in
youngest. He's
between.
38.
Right.
How old is the oldest?
48.
Okay.
48, 49.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a
Yeah,
decade.
Right.
Okay, cool. Well, I didn't know if you were all like right about the same age, but I mean, there's a little.
I think everybody else is closer in age. Jerwin is a little older, right? He might get a little upset for
Hey,
for letting you know, but
he should. Well, just Jerwin, just so I'm with you, brother. You're the oldest. You should get 2 votes. That's the way I see that. So, where do you guys see your cigar company in the next year and next 5 years? I mean, because really, you're 2 years in.
Right.
You survived the pandemic, which is an accomplishment in itself. So now, where do you guys plan on? What's your strategy for the next 12 months? I mean, what's your goals right now?
The next 12 months, man, we really just kind of concentrating on, doing the things that we couldn't do within COVID.
Ah, gotcha.
Right. So we couldn't really get out. We couldn't touch the people. It was a lot of, we basically were, I know at least for the first 3 or 4 months, we were kind of restricted to online sales. So I shout out to the customers who actually went online and bought cigars, because that really helped us.
Kept you going.
That kept us afloat. So the next 12 months, I think we're going to make a concerted effort to reach those people that we didn't get to reach in 2020. Go out. So again,
and now you get to come out in person and do cutting lights.
Exactly.
And meet the people face to face. And I tell you what, I think it's very important that consumers get to know the men behind the brand.
Right.
And I know Neo said, this isn't about us. This is about the cigar. This is about the community. But I think it helps when a consumer can put a face or faces with the brand.
Right.
Because if I know a brand and I know the guys behind the brand are good dudes,
right,
it makes me love the brand.
Right.
But if you have a good cigar, and trust me, there's a lot of good cigars out there,
right,
and I can't speak highly of the men behind the cigar, it's a turnoff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now you get the opportunity to go out and see people and meet them face to face like you did last night.
Exactly. Right.
I mean, you ended up at a bachelor party last night and didn't even plan on it.
Right. Man, and it's a side note, man, but those sandwiches were excellent. At
I
the
didn't
bachelor
get any
party.
sandwiches.
Man, you missed out.
Man.
Yeah, the ham and turkey sandwiches.
Was that from the
they had,
Grain Theory?
You know what?
Where were the?
They didn't really tell us where they were from, but we were kind of. I was like, man, I'm hungry. So we're walking out the door, and they got this tray of sandwiches. So I was like, go ahead and take some. So I was like, took a chance. I was like, yo, this is.
Man,
great.
I must have left just too early.
Yeah, that sandwich was a lot better than what I expected. But
I had Sonic.
Oh man.
So I left too early.
Right.
But
so it's good, man. Just like today, I think me and Neo and Jamon, man, we're kind of excited to get out and meet the people who have been here in Abilene supporting the brand. So I think the Leaf has been. And actually, just walking through the humidor yesterday, man, it's even more of an honor to be a part of that humidor.
It's a nice humidor.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
real nice.
I know you guys live in the Metroplex, so you're used to big cigar lounges. But going from the humidor that we had at the other old location, it was like a 12-foot by 12-foot box, and it was from the floor to the ceiling. Now, man, you can walk around in there. It's
right, all
lined in cedar. Jay has made a beautiful humidor, and so it's awesome to have you guys cigars in there.
All right, yes, it is. And so I think Neo kind of came out and made the connection with Jay, because I know he comes out here a lot for work. So the fact that he was able to try cigars and like them enough to actually put them in the humidor, and consequently they're doing well. So,
Right.
It's just a testament to the amount of work that we put in as a group, as a team, curating cigars, and I'm just glad the people like it. So,
Oh yeah, man.
Right.
I love your cigars. I love the bands. I love the wrappers. Man, y'all are putting some beautiful tobacco on those wrappers. I mean, you're just so shiny and oily, which I love. I mean, tell us about that stick you're smoking right there.
So this one is the Integrity. This is originally a 7-year age tobacco binder and filler.
Hold it up high right here towards the camera. There you go. Yeah.
So all right, so they can see it now. All right.
That's a beautiful stick, man.
Oh yeah. Box press. 7-year age binder and filler. 4-year age San Andreas Mexican wrapper on this one. So this for my money is actually, man, this is one of the best cigars that we offer.
I'm a sucker for San Andreas.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's 4 years age San Andreas. Very nice. It's a good looking stick. And what'd you say that one's called?
The Integrity.
Integrity. See, what I love about your cigars is I'm always telling people about your cigars, but I'm always saying, hey, when you go into the humidor, you walk over here, that's where they are. Check out the blue one and the maroon one. I love the maroon, and then I also love the green because that's the Cameroon.
Yes, sir.
Man, y'all's Cameroon is nice. And I'm actually a Cameroon fan. And so
that's rare because it's not a lot of big Cameroon fans,
right? But I think people are scared of the name Cameroon or something. But I think once you dive into the Cameroons, it's a beautiful stick.
Right.
It's smooth. It's silky smooth.
Yeah. So I guess kind of back to what you were referencing. So you were referencing the light blue or the royal blue?
The blend. Royal blue.
Royal blue blend. Okay. So that one is the Equalizer.
The Equalizer,
right.
And then the maroon
is the Conception.
Conception. Yeah, he told me that earlier already, but I just say maroon because the maroon stick, man, that's a beautiful stick too. You could take the band off and I'd be like, yeah, I want to buy that.
Yeah. Nice box press with it. And that is actually one of our more popular cigars as well. One of my go-to favorites in our line is the Conception.
Okay.
So, man, great smoke. If you haven't tried it.
So which was the first cigar y'all came out with?
The first one is was the Nobility. All right. So over time, we kind of, I would say, refined it, and it ended up coming back as the Equalizer.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Cool.
So we kind of, for customer's sake, we improved it.
Right.
Binder, wrapper.
You
filler.
evolved.
Yeah. Comes with, with time. We evolved as a company. And we were able to put out a better product, and that's no, knock on what it originally was, but, anytime you can upgrade your product.
Hey, there's always a square
tobacco.
One.
Right. Got to start
10
somewhere.
years from now,
right?
Square one is going to be replaced by 100 squares. You know what I mean? You
exactly.
Trust me. If you go back and listen to episode 1 of Cigar Talk, you'll be like, man, those dudes suck. Those dudes really suck. So, there's always a square one. So I was just curious what your first cigar was, because I know you guys have evolved, and I see the cigars like the light blue. Tell me about the light blue. That's a new one coming out.
Right. The light blue is the 919 blend. So that one is it comes in Maduro and Habano, Ecuadorian wrapper, Ecuadorian Maduro wrapper, Ecuadorian Habano. Also has a kind of a mixture of Honduran and Nicaraguan tobacco in the
filler. Oh, okay. Now, which one do you prefer if you got to take a choice?
If I had to take a choice, I would smoke the Habano.
All right. See, I love Habano, man. I think you get so much more flavor out of that wrapper.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I still love Maduros, but if I'm gonna take one, I'm taking the Habano. Right. That's just me. And then you throw in a San Andreas, I'm like, I'm really having a tough choice.
Right.
And I love the way you guys are mixing it up so much. I mean, you're really appealing to so many different cigar smokers by having those choices.
Right. So I know what one of the things we have, man, it's a we have about 9 blends, so to speak. So I know we talk a lot, and between those 9 blends, you will find something that you like. Whether it's the prolific blend that's kind of on the milder, medium end, or if you want to go all the way up to a Phoenix or Integrity with the Maduro, and blends in between. So just giving the customers variety. So hey, if you depending on where
and
you
all
are,
shapes
your
and sizes too.
Right, all shapes and sizes. So if you're more of a milder, medium guy, medium full, or if you like, if you want to climb the ladder and go up to a Maduro, we pretty much can, accommodate you, smoke wise. So.
Well, I love the thought process behind each cigar because you are making a line that covers so many different cigar smokers. Like you said, there's a cigar in your line for just about everybody, unless they're wanting a Swiss or Sweet.
No.
Then they're going to have to go down to the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, got to go to the corner store for the Swiss or Sweets. But and we also have a flavored line, as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that particular branch of definition kind of launched inside of COVID. And as strange as it sounds, man, that those cigars actually helped keep us afloat too, man. There was a lot of people. There's a lane for flavored cigars,
dude.
So
people
like them, people enjoy them.
More flavored cigars are sold than any other kind of cigar. That's how Drew Estate made it. And I don't know how because I don't like flavored cigars,
right.
But there's a market for them. And a lot of guys that have never smoked cigars, I'll even point them towards a flavored cigar just
right.
to let them get their beak wet. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, I don't want to give them something I'm smoking because then they're going to get sick and they're not going to enjoy it.
Right.
So there's a place for flavored cigars. There's a place for non-flavored cigars. Right. And so I think it's a very smart way to approach the market because if you want to appeal to the masses, you got to give people what they want.
Exactly. Yeah. So I remember in the beginning, we were kind of on the fence about flavored cigars because we don't smoke them.
Right.
So, I think we've all probably have tried it, one time or another. Actually,
I've tried it.
Right. And I've had a couple, at the time, I guess you can call it a phase. And I probably went through. I smoked some Java Maduros, Java Latte.
See, I tried the Java because I thought it's going to taste like coffee. I love coffee.
Right.
And then I smoked it and I was like, that's horrible. So it's not for me. But, I know my brother, his wife, she loves those.
Right.
And so, there's a cigar for everyone.
Exactly.
And you can't say, well, you're not a cigar smoker if you smoke infused cigars. That's not true. And I had a friend of mine tell me the other week, actually, he owns a cigar lounge, and he was like, if you ever have a flavored cigar or a sweet tip, he knows I don't like those. But somebody gave me one. He said, cut it and smoke it backwards. That way you don't have the sweet tip in your mouth, and it's still quality tobacco. I tried that, and I still didn't like it. So, but I did try it. I'm always up to try something.
Right. Yeah. I remember a couple of other ones, like the Nub Cafe series. You got the espresso, you got the cappuccino, you have different ones. So, and some people, they like to smoke early in the morning, a cup of coffee. So, there is something in the definition line for everybody.
Right.
So, again, we have flavored cigars that are kind of more on the, kind of chocolate, vanilla, and then we also have some fruity blends as well, blueberry and peach. So, and in certain, certain venues, certain areas, man, they are actually popular. One of the bigger flavor cigar markets we have is with Cigar Art in Bishop, and they buy them out. So, again, it's just providing that variety for people, for customers, so we can kind of hit everybody where they are in their smoking experience.
Yeah, guys that are smoking flavored cigars now, in 5 years, they may still be smoking them, or they may not ever smoke them again. You know what I mean? They might have moved on to something else. So, I had a friend that turned me on to, I don't know what it was, like a Blondie or something. And I smoked that, and I was like, that's horrible. But he loved them. So,
Yeah.
I used to make fun of people if they smoked those. And then I learned it's not about what they're smoking. It's about them being part of the community.
Right. So, yeah, again, a lot of smoking is subjective. So, somebody may not like an integrity, but they may like a flavor cigar. They may not like a flavor cigar, but they may like a 919 or a Phoenix. So a lot of it is palate based. So what are you used to smoking? What do you like smoking? And then, hey, sometimes if you want to, branch outside of that and try something new, like I said, we will pretty much offer everything across the spectrum for you guys.
Now,
to,
y'all have
enjoy.
one cigar, I think it's called the Walking Stick.
Yeah.
That is a phenomenal Lancero. I'm not a Lancero guy, but holy crap, that's a good Lancero. Debbie over there, she's like, hell yeah,
Right.
she loves Lanceros. But that Lancero, I smoked it, and I was like, holy crap, that's good. And so, I never say I won't smoke something because you never know.
Yeah, that Lancero took us a little while to come up, curate something that we felt felt confident with going to market, and I know once we hit that one, that satisfied everybody's palate. So
Well,
it's
you
kind
hit it out of the park with that one.
Yeah, so-
That's a solid smoke. Well, hey, man, thanks for swinging by and talking with us for a bit. We're going to get your next partner on the show and find
All right.
out a little bit about him, too. But thank you so much. Hey, and thanks for the rye last night.
Oh yeah,
I've never had that before, but that was fantastic.
all right, yeah,
And I'm not usually a big rye guy, but I think I had a couple of those, so thanks.
right. Thank you for the
Hey,
for
you-
the old scout.
let me know when you're
Right.
ready for something else. Yeah.
Gotcha. All
All right, brother. Thank you, man.
All right, appreciate it.
Hey guys, we have the final member that we have availability here in Abilene for the Cut and Light. We got Jay with Definition Cigars, and we want to see how you doing, brother.
Man, super solid. I appreciate the opportunity to come.
Oh, dude, we've been looking forward to this. We've been
Yeah.
like, dude, hurry up and get down here,
Right.
and now you're here.
Hey, so before we go any further, it would only be right, man, from a definition perspective, for us to bless you with a little bit of that goodness.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
So that is an unreleased cigar. That
I'm already liking the pigtail right here.
Pigtail. So that cigar may not be in the same shape, form, whatnot, but the blend is the blend. So,
So this is an unreleased.
completely,
Man, I love smoking unreleased cigars, man.
completely. We wanted to bless you with that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
What's the wrapper on it? Can you tell that, or is that top secret?
Sumatra.
Whoo, I love a Sumatra, man. And you know what? I got to pour myself some more coffee because Sumatra and coffee for me.
Right.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So, get a part of that. Get onto that. There'll probably be something that probably the folks will see maybe at the end of the summer, early fall. But yeah, it's something we're sitting on right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
You guys are always surprising me. I haven't even known you guys in cigar life. I haven't not known y'all that long.
Right.
And you've surprised me over and over. Like I was telling you earlier, you sent me some new cigars, and I opened up the box, and there's a Lancero in there. My first thought was, oh, man, he sent me a Lancero.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out I loved it. You guys call it the walking stick.
Right.
I normally don't like Lanceros. Well, I won't say I don't like them, but they're just not my go-to because I don't know why. But when I smoked that one, me and Bryant were like going off on the show. We were like, dude, this Lancero's got it going on. And so now you got me a unreleased cigar. I can't wait, man. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. No, thank you. We was talking off camera a little bit. It's one of those things when you and I talked on the phone, right? So people do not have to do anything that they don't want to. The good Lord has all blessed us with the ability to have just free will. We do what we do what we want to. We're not confined to anything. So in terms of Definition Cigars, what you and Bryant have done and just smoking and sharing how you guys feel about our cigars has been amazing. To start off with, it's something that is refreshing, especially in this industry, because a lot of times folks want something to be able to do something, and you guys never did that. You just smoked our cigars and shared them with the following that the Cigar Talk podcast has. That is super dope. It's 16,000-17,000 members on Instagram, and there's another following on Facebook, and you guys have a platform where you just insulate folks who want to be about what you guys are about. So long story short is the appreciation for that, man, goes further than us smoking cigars and me sharing that. So
Well,
thank you.
and let me tell you this, though. Like, we are always on the hunt for good cigars. And when we find them, I mean, there's a ton of good cigars.
Sure.
But when you find a really good cigar and you get excited about it, you want to share it because you want other cigar smokers to be able to experience what you're experiencing.
Right.
And I mean, you can go down to any cigar shop and you can find a good cigar. But I'm always on the lookout for something special. And
Right.
what you guys are doing is special. And so when I found your cigar, and it was completely by dumb luck that I found your cigars, because I was at a cigar shop and I was doing a show there, and the guy was like, hey, yeah, go in and pick out, 8, 9, 10 cigars, and then we'll do the show. And I didn't know before I went in there that he wasn't going to charge me for the cigars. And so I went in there and picked out cigars that I was going to buy.
Right.
And as I'm walking out, I see this blue band that I'd never seen before. And I was like, they caught my eye. And I looked down at the cigars, and then I immediately didn't notice the band anymore because this oily wrapper, beautiful stick was like, okay, I don't know what this is, but I need to smoke it, because it reminded me of the glory days of LFD in a Cabinet 6.
Yes.
It was that beautiful of a stick. And everybody knows that in the heyday of LFD, when they were on their game, and I'm not knocking them, I normally do, but I'm not going to knock them today.
Okay.
But back in the day, the Cabinet 6 was the pinnacle of what I thought a good cigar, a great cigar should be.
Okay.
And when I saw your stick, I was like, that's a beautiful stick. It doesn't even need a band, but the fact that you don't have a paper band and it has something that caught my eye just drew me in. And I was like, oh, so I picked up 3 or 4 of those sticks, and then he was like, oh yeah, those are on the house. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I came back from Dallas and I was smoking these cigars that you guys had, and I was like, holy shit, these are good.
Right.
These are not just beautiful, they are really good. And the band was like cool but I had no idea what the name of your cigars were.
Sure.
So I'm here in the back of the Leaf telling these guys about your cigars, but I don't know what they're called. I just know that I scored. And all of a sudden, here comes this dude I've never met before. And Jay at the Leaf is introducing me to this guy named Neo, which I don't know him from a hole in the wall. And he's handing out a few sticks, and he reaches out to hand me one, and it's got one of your bands on it. And I was like, I know those. I know those sticks.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got no idea what the name of them are, but I know they're good. And then all of a sudden, man, I'm hanging out talking with Neo.
Right.
And at that time, I didn't know you were Chad.
Sure.
But I was excited to share your cigars because it was something completely refreshing and new, but still old school in the fact that it was quality.
Right.
And when you find that combination, you're like, I'm in.
Yeah. That's awesome on a bunch of different levels for me personally. But I mean, the cigars, we were intentional about the band. You and I talked a little bit last night about the DC. Speaking for Definition Cigars, there's no one face. There's no guys that are representative of it. It's that DC that it's that seal. It's that armor that we always stand behind, because we want people to recognize that it's Definition Cigars. It's the brand. It's not a person, so to speak, or people in terms of us, because it's 5 of us. We want folks to enjoy the cigars. We're cigar guys, so enjoy the cigars, and then we go from there.
But let me tell you, man, when you get a guy like me excited, I mean, and guys already know, I smoke in a neighborhood of somewhere between 7 to 10 cigars a day.
Sure.
So when I get excited about a cigar, it's something special.
Right. Right.
So I got to have a drink.
Please do.
And I am drinking the old George Dickel.
Man, the old George Dickel dried you out a little bit, huh?
Something. But no, man, I found your cigars, and it was something really that just blew me away. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like something that I'd had before, but the beauty of the cigar itself just drew me to it. And then once I smoked it, I was like, wow, who are these guys?
Right.
And then when I found out you were a new company, I was like, that's one of the things I bragged on y'all about. I was like, most of the time a new company comes to market, you're not bringing A-game sticks.
Sure.
You're bringing good sticks, sure.
Right.
But not something that's hitting it out of the park.
Right.
So that's why I was just like, holy crap, the level of cigars these guys are making, being a new company, you expect decent cigars.
Right.
You guys knocked it out, though.
Yeah, and that comes from Rob. So we took 6 months. So the company officially launched in January 2019, but the idea around Definition Cigars started in June of 2018, and we took 6 months and went through the process of what was going to be our definition. The Definition Cigars, the name of the company, isn't by accident. It's intentional to say that with all of the taglines of the cigar culture and what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do with it, what we always say to our customers, to our retail partners, is that you define who you are as a cigar smoker. You define the culture. You define who you are in that instance to smoke a cigar, whether it's the garbage man or the Fortune 500 company CEO. You define if you want to drink vodka, if you want to drink coffee, if you want to do this or that. If you are fresh off work, come in the shop and feel comfortable with smoking. Grab a Definition cigar if it makes you feel better. But in terms of the cigar culture, be comfortable. Define your own path, because there is no one thing that says you're a cigar smoker versus you're not.
Right.
Cigars are cigars.
Right.
And enjoying
there's no
those.
right or wrong.
There is no right or wrong. But Definition Cigars and who we are and our ownership group, we want to put that out in the forefront for people to understand and believe in that. Believe that. You'll see us at a Cut and Light suited and booted, with, suits on and flat bottom shoes, but you'll also see us in t-shirts and sneakers and jeans as well. We define.
Let me ask you this: are y'all going to be in suits tonight?
We are going to be in onesies tonight, rompers, Definition rompers.
I can't wait to see that. I would like to get a picture with each one of you guys.
Right. It's going to have the ass out in the back.
Well, let's make sure we're facing forward. So,
like the old school saddle. You know what I mean? The deals that they had on the legs and ass in the back.
Yeah, the chaps.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
but
so
really.
No, because I'm going to let you know. Like you saw what I was wearing last night: shorts, flip flops.
Right.
That's what I'll be wearing tonight. That's my uniform.
That's it.
Right, because if I'm in flip flops and shorts, I'm relaxed.
Man,
and if I'm relaxed, that's how I enjoy my cigar.
Go.
If I got to dress up, man, now don't get me wrong. When I do have to dress up, I'm still smoking cigars, but I'm not as comfortable as I could be.
But Rob, that's the thing with the cigar culture, and it's grown as the years go by. In different cities, you see, people just settling in, just being who they are. But for the most part, it is a thing to, okay, you see a group of guys sitting at the table, and those guys may have on sneakers and gym shorts or what have you, and you don't know where they came from to get to this point in being a cigar smoker. Those guys could be all millionaires.
Right.
But they decided to come to the cigar shop and have a cigar in the middle of wherever they're going with their day. So the cigar culture in a lot of cases you walk in there and said, oh, those guys are fad smokers, or those guys aren't truly about what the lifestyle is.
There's no defined lifestyle,
Man,
right?
What did you say? There's is none.
There's no defined, because guys that come in wearing suits, that's cool. If that's what they want to do. If there's and I'll tell you this, there's been times in the wintertime when I go down to the Leaf early in the morning to have my coffee and a cigar, and I'm still in my PJs. And I walk in and I know there's been some guys like, who the hell is that? And it's like, I got on red and black flannel PJ bottoms and a T-shirt, and I'm coming to smoke.
Hey, Rob, we would call that defining pajamas.
Exactly. And so, I'm so thankful that Jay lets me come smoke in my PJs. But, I only do that in the wintertime when it's cozy. You know what I mean? But that's how I enjoy it. Now, if I'm going to an event, I'm going to dress up a little bit.
We get it.
Yeah.
It's all perspective of the person. But the foundation of what we say is just be comfortable. Just smoke.
Right.
Enjoy your smoking in whatever setting that is befitting to yourself.
If
just
I can't be as comfortable as I am here in the studio, I'm not going anywhere, because
right.
you're in here right now. You can just be yourself.
Man, we had Music Soul Child in here. You
jamming.
Yes, that's us. That settles us. Some folks like Little Jazz or some Frank Sinatra
my genre is across the entire spectrum, except for New Country. If you listen to New Country, you do not listen to music that is not music.
I have no frame of reference. So.
Well, I one day, let me just tell you, I accidentally flipped on some New Country today, and the verse was chewing tobacco, chewing tobacco, chewing tobacco, spit, and I was like, that's Blake Shelton. That's why he sucks.
Hey, there's some new hip hop that we're not. Somebody's saying, got to get the bag.
Here we go. Let me tell you. This is my favorite.
Pony?
Yeah.
Genuine?
You know why? Listen to that.
Hey. That's it.
Dude, I opened up the door and let the neighbors down the block jam out to some Pony, baby.
Hey, man, they ain't young enough to still make babies.
I don't know, man. I know they got a lot of kids already, so maybe.
Man, you may be doing something for their life, though, Rob. Hey, that's giving back to the culture.
Absolutely, man. So I asked the other guys already about their life before cigars. Let's dive into yours a little bit.
Sure.
So let's reference, how old are you now?
I'm 41 years old.
You wearing glasses yet?
No.
It's coming, brother. It's coming. I'm just letting you know it's coming.
I just squint. So me and my dad went out to eat maybe a month ago, and my dad takes the menu and puts it out here, and I'm like, "Yo, Pops, like, don't you think you should bring it closer if you can't see it?"
No.
And he says, "No, son.
The closer it gets, I can't see it.
This is better here." So I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, you get there. I didn't start wearing glasses till I was 46, but I needed them at 40 because I was like, you don't want to cover this up,
You can't cover up. Man, you got to preserve the sexy.
Right, man.
And then what P. Diddy said?
That's right.
You got to preserve the sexy. Man.
So, well, first of all, where'd you grow up?
Yeah, grew up in Northern Virginia. Probably it's about 50 miles outside of Washington, D.C. Rob, I've been around cigars and pipe tobacco since I can remember. Yeah,
if you were out that way, that was a big cigar industry.
Yeah. My grandfather, smoked cigars, and I grew up in my grandparents' home, and man, he smoked cigars. He ordered from Thompson Cigar Company back in the day. He was smoking Garcia Vegas when.
Wow.
It was still a good cigar. And, in the wintertime, he would go out on the front porch and fire up his pipe. So, the levels of cigars, as a kid, I wasn't abreast, so to speak, but it's been always around me since since before I can.
Now, does your
remember.
dad smoke cigars?
This is my grandfather. My grandparents, along with my mom. You know, it takes a village to raise a child, right? So that was where I lived there, and cigars have been a part of my life.
So you grew up very close with your grandparents. So
close,
when
yeah.
you say you're old school, you got old school from your grandparents' point of view.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a blessing, because dude, people in that
Oh, my
generation,
goodness.
I mean, you got bombarded with the good stuff.
Hey Rob, I'm old school till I graduated senior year in high school, and I graduated in '97. We still had plastic on the couches in the living room. My grandfather was a truck driver, and when he would come off the road and his first meal in the house, every meal, my grandmother put down a table setting: fork, knife, spoon, hot tea, iced tea. My grandfather sit there and read the newspaper. That is what I know. I mean, and it's probably a little bit of a detriment to who I am in 2021 as far as
No, that's not
but
detriment, man.
like, man, I expect
That's a
certain
blessing.
shit. Man, fix my plate. You know what I'm saying? Not on no bullshit, but just man, that's what I grew up. Man, I mean, like, hey Rob, it got down. It goes as deep as my grandmother hot ironed my grandfather's boxer shorts.
Really?
Man, old school shit.
Dude, let me tell you, my mother put so much starch while she was ironing my dad's jeans.
Niagara?
Dude, they stand up on their own.
Hey, Rob, I used to be at the bus stop not being able to move. Hey, between the flies and the bugs in the early morning in the summer times in Virginia. So, you know, as kids, we adopted a thing is that, man, so back in the day, you wore that Skin So Soft.
Right.
Avon lotion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I come from a black household.
Hey,
man.
I know Avon. Avon.
Shit, you know, my grandma was getting that
Hey.
stuff. So you stand at the bus stop and you put your hands up high in the air. That's the highest point that the gnats would go. So you stand there at the bus stop with the Skin So Soft on and with these starched jeans. I mean, it was just bad. Like,
now, see, you're so young that to get the old school with the age that you were,
right?
did the other kids make fun of you?
We all grew up in the same neighborhood. Everybody else's mom was doing that.
Okay.
Hey, everybody else's mama was starching her jeans like that, and you know it started to change a little bit, Rob. So you don't want to go to school with creases down the middle of your pants.
Right.
I mean, you can't bend over,
Right.
You
could, but you know what? Those starch jeans, man, you could sharpen a blade on them.
Rob, my grandmother was so. Not only that, they were clothesline dried, so they was already hard.
Right. I remember, man. I remember.
Rob, they was already hard, and then you go ahead and spray a little bit of Niagara on them, and put that hot iron. I mean, you cannot win, man. You want to talk about flexibility and dexterity not being there, man? Shit.
So I don't know how much cigar talk you've heard, but you know, Bryant grew up in East St. Louis.
Okay.
And Bryant was, when we first started talking, he was like, "Oh, you don't know, man, I grew up in the projects."
Right.
And I said, "Dude, I grew up in the projects too." And he was like, "Bullshit." And I said, "The only difference was I grew up in the white projects. Do you know what the white projects are?"
Trailer.
Boom. See, you know,
Man,
I grew up in the trailer park, baby. I mean, that's as project as you can get.
Right.
And, you know, I it's funny because I used to walk a mile or 1.2 miles to kindergarten. I crossed a highway when I was 5.
Did you have somebody with you?
Well, the other kids that were my age,
Man, y'all just a squad. Just a mob.
we just walked.
Just a mob.
Yeah. And, you know,
Shit.
I was like, dude, that's how it was. We didn't,
Right.
you know, my mom stayed home, but she didn't take us to school.
Sure. Yeah. That's what it was. I remember, Rob, and it's funny the shit that you remember, right?
Mhm.
I'm 41. I remember walking 5 miles with my grandmother to go and pay my school fees to start school.
And that's just the way it was.
Man, that's the way it was. My grandmother never drove. So my grandmother cooked everything from scratch. never dried a piece of clothing. It was all clothesline.
Oh, see, we got a dryer in about 1980.
She didn't never want it. She ironed everything.
Well, why would you want one if you're going to iron everything?
She ironed everything.
Yeah.
Now, we as kids, me and my older cousin lived in that house, and Rob, like we didn't get the treatment that my granddaddy got with ironing our boxes and that sort of thing. But everything.
Well, no, because you're not the king of the house.
Undershirts, iron,
yeah,
Niagara. But going back to your point, just cigars in general was the thing in that household for me. My grandfather and if any of my other cousins ever heard this part of the podcast, they probably feel some type of way. But man, I was my grandfather's guy. I mean, we did everything.
You hung together, man.
And that was my guy. We did everything together. So I was blessed enough to have a little bit of athletic talent. And before every home basketball game or away, high school basketball Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the big nights. We always went out to McDonald's and had a quarter pounder with cheese.
Same here, bro. That was like
that was our thing.
Yeah, my dad used to take me, and he'd be like, I'd get ready to order, and he's like, "You want to get the quarter pounder?"
Yep, Rob. That was our thing, and we never talked hoops, and we never talked anything of that sort because my grandfather wasn't an athlete, but he was intentional about our relationship. So he always spent that time with me before we went out there, and he would smoke a cigar on the way to McDonald's and fire it back up. When we got back, and around Christmas time, Rob, he always had the high test moonshine.
Nice.
For the neighborhood to come by. That was the thing there with my family and in our neighborhood. Everybody knew to come by Mr. Hackley's house and have a shot of moonshine with him around the holidays. So
nice.
And cigars have just been a part of my thing. And my grandfather passed unfortunately in 2006, and I was 19, 20 at the time, and still wasn't actively smoking cigars then. And
now, when you got around cigars for the first time as a man, did the smell of those cigars take you back?
It did.
Pull that up a little bit in front of you, bro.
I became emotional.
Yeah,
I did. I became extremely emotional, and I'll tell you when the first time. So I was in Columbus, Ohio at the time, smoking. I was living there, and it wasn't a cigar lounge; it was a club, and cigars were welcomed in that club, and we're smoking. And at the time, I'm a fad smoker. I happened to pick up a cigar and X, Y, and Z, and I just thought back to my childhood. But it really resonated when I moved to Dallas, and I'd been smoking a little bit. Kind of getting more involved. I've always smoked cigars just because I was around it, but being serious about it, Rob. And it's and still to this day, I have moments where I become emotional about cigars. My grandfather passed in December of 2006, and I get around the early parts of December on the date that he passed, and I mean. Cigars are just, it's a part of me. It's this version of me that isn't the man that you see without cigars being involved in my life. It just isn't. Times for my grandfather where we traveled or things like this. So my grandfather was this guy, Rob. We would travel 50 miles for my grandfather to take 12 empty gallon jugs of empty water gallon jugs for us to refill at the spring. We would drive to West Virginia.
Wow.
And he's smoking a cigar, enjoying a cigar or whatever. So anything that's from a childhood perspective, I resonate with a cigar.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, and it brings that connection back that you had back then. And I'm with you, man. like there's certain days when I'm smoking a cigar and it makes me think of my dad, and
Yeah.
you know, sitting out on the front porch. And my mother passed away in 2016 in February, and my dad passed away in 2016 in March.
Oh,
So
man.
he only lived 41 days longer than she did. And he was just completely devastated by her loss. But us sitting out on the patio, they lived in an old craftsman style home with a big front porch.
Wow.
And we would sit out there and just smoke cigars and talk about the history.
Yeah.
And so now sometimes when I'm smoking a cigar, it just makes me go back to that point, and it's like, man, that was a great moment in my life. I'll never forget.
Yeah.
So, you know, not only does the cigar community bring you together, but I mean, also looking back on your upbringing with your grandfather and your grandmother, y'all were a tight-knit family.
Right.
And so now that's gone, but you still have a tight-knit family in the cigar community.
Sure.
And I mean, isn't that a blessing?
Man, it truly is. Man, you make me feel some type of way.
I don't want to make you cry.
No, I mean, and I'm not opposed to that because, man, I love this. So where I find myself now, I'm in the transportation, trucking, and moving material, and that's what my grandfather did.
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
you know,
I
it's
mean,
funny
it's-
because I have that same connection with my dad.
It's so crazy that the subconscious and what you pick up as a child ends up being your life as an adult. So I have that, but I also have the cigars. And when you talk about my brothers and you met two of them here, the impact that the cigars and along with the relationships that I built around cigars really hits me different because it means so much. I'm passionate about what cigars are, what the culture continues to grow to be. Because Rob, yeah, while you say, you know, that DC metropolitan area was a big cigar hub back in the day in the 80s and that sort of thing, it's obviously grown, right? You have a podcast that has followers that touch 50 states, and it's just a beautiful thing. So when you talk about everything that's involved with that outside of your personal relationships with it, it just makes you, if it doesn't make you feel some type of way, then man, we're missing something.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And you know, and I'm gonna assume something here on you because I was super, super close with my dad the way you were with your granddad. And I know for a fact that this is going to resonate with you. When I get big news, who did I always want to call?
Right.
Well, I don't have that option anymore. So you know who I share it with? My cigar community.
Sure.
I share it with the Light 'em Up crew. Dude,
Right.
I have such good friends in the community now. I don't have the opportunity to pick up the phone and call my dad and say, hey, man, guess what's going on with Cigar Talk? But I got people that I'm super close with
Right.
in the cigar community. And I'm going to tell you what, it has helped me through a lot of times having that cigar community, not having my folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. 100%. I mean, I'm kind of a loner, and these guys will tell you, man, Jay has a certain type of energy with him. But when I let you in, I do let you in. I'm you know, the what's the word? The layers, they're removed when I let you in. And, man, I'm so transparent, and sometimes transparency isn't for everyone.
It's a vulnerability too.
It is.
Because if you're not willing to be vulnerable, you're not going to be transparent.
Right.
And I believe in transparency 100%. I don't want to be something that
Yeah.
I'm not. And so whenever you know who I am, I want you to know who I am.
Right. And I'm not ashamed of it, because if I've moved to a level where I've let you in a way that I feel that I can be transparent. I'll give you an example. I happened to see an Instagram post last night in terms of someone that I didn't really know their appearance. Been around them a whole lot of times, and I went to these two dudes, and I'm like, man, did you guys see that? Like, I was so blown away. I was like, oh my gosh. And in normal settings, I wouldn't express myself that way, but I'm so, man, my brothers give me so much fuel to allow me to be myself. So
yeah, and that's what the community is all about.
right.
Just being able to, because when you can be yourself is when you can relax.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If I have to put on airs, man, that ain't my situation.
No. I'm gonna remove myself from
I mean, I think Neo learned real quick last night when I showed up.
Sure.
I had the whole place going, what in the hell just happened in here?
Yeah.
But that's just who I am.
That's what it should be.
And if I can't be that person, then I'm not in the right environment.
Why should you be anything else, Rob?
Right. I mean, if I can't be myself, I can't relax. And if I can't relax, then I need to find myself a new setting. But fortunately, in the cigar community, we welcome all.
Yeah, and that's what we push as in Definition Cigars. And so, man, for the followers, the viewers, the guys that are loyal to Cigar Talk podcast, is when you see the what's your definition, it's just not some thing. We live by that, man. Like, what is your definition when you're smoking a cigar? Man, keep that in mind.
Right.
So you see the guy from across the room, man, don't be like him. Be like you.
Right.
Smoke that cigar and be like you. Don't. Oh man, he looks a certain way. Oh man, he's drinking this. Or
dude, and
he's acting this.
No.
No.
Let me tell you this. When I'd been smoking cigars probably for like 3 or 4 years before I actually took the time to go in a lounge and experience it, because I was intimidated. I mean, Rob Jones, I was intimidated. I walked in and there's a guy named Gary Hartley that I love now. But when I walked in, the dude's wearing like one of those derby hats.
He looked like a certain way.
He's smoking a digger.
Okay.
Big, fat, long digger. And I'm like, that dude knows what the hell's going on.
Right.
I don't know shit. So I would go in, buy my cigars, and then I would come home and smoke them out in the backyard. And I was like, those dudes know what's going on. I don't know shit.
Rob, we don't want that no more.
Right.
We don't want that.
So, but what's so funny is that was a preconception in my mind.
Right.
Once I decided to sit down in the cigar lounge, I found out that Gary Hartley's like one of the coolest laid-back dudes I know.
But here's the other side of it, though, Rob. You also have something to offer Gary Hartley.
Right. Dude, we bounce each other back and forth.
Look, you have something to offer him, and you were selling yourself short by getting caught up in what it looks like to be a guy that smokes cigar.
Right.
There's no such thing.
Exactly. It's for everyone.
It's for everyone. And you define who you are.
And that's what I love about
like you said last night,
definition.
I am comfortable in being in flip-flops, pair of shorts, and I'm coming through.
Right.
I'm smoking.
That's what it's all about.
Let's talk cigars.
And that's why I love the way you guys intently put together Definition Cigars.
Right.
It's for everyone.
It's for everyone.
In their own way.
In their own way.
And that's what's beautiful about it. And you guys are making beautiful cigars. Man,
that's a blessing. We have great partnerships with our factory group. I can't take the credit. I have to shout those guys out. So while we have ideas and we've been smoking a lot cigars, before we done this, man, my guys over here looking at me. We met and just smoked cigars and critiqued and gave homage to certain cigar brands. It was easy when we started this to kind of move towards what we like. So, Rob, we started out with one cigar, and that's 6 months. And that's 6 months of going through Honduran leaves and Nicaraguan leaves, Dominican leaves, and Connecticut broadleaves. And
but what a
Ecuadorian
great journey!
I mean, it was fun. It was fun, guys. It was fun, right? I mean, you can't see them, but I mean, we some sticks we could only get halfway through, and some guys was like, man, fuck.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. We're allowed.
Man.
We're allowed 2 F-bombs a show.
Some guys were like, "Man, forget this cigar. I am done." Man, some of the cigars were such bombs, in terms of strength. Man, like Chad, we're smoking a double Ajero blend at the time, and testing out and with this wrapper and this binder, and he was like, "Man, I can't even do this."
Well, see, and that's where I am now, because when you tell me double Ajero, I get a little timid.
You gotta trust me.
The Phoenix, though,
you gotta trust
I'm
me.
hearing that Phoenix is like not an ass kicker.
No.
And Jay was telling me about the Phoenix last night, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with the Cameroon. That's my safe zone.
So today,
yeah,
when we go down to the shop,
all right,
you got to try the Phoenix. It's
because it's a San Andreas wrapper.
It's a San Andreas
It's
wrapper.
double Ajero filler, and I was like, whoa,
Double Ajero binder.
binder.
Yeah, which kind of can be intimidating, and Honduran filler.
So yeah, I was like, yeah, I haven't even eaten dinner yet. I'm not gonna go down that road. I don't want to get sick.
No.
Now, have you ever smoked an LFD NAS?
I don't believe so.
You would know because it looks like a Clint Eastwood cigar. It's one of those little
Oh, it's a cowboy cigar.
Yes.
I love those.
It's a little bitty, but let me tell you something.
It's a
Its
motherfucker.
appearance,
I mean, damn.
its appearance is very deceiving because it is the most nicotine packed cigar you've ever
Is
had.
that right?
Dude, I had one. Bill, the old shop owner, was like, yeah, I dare you to smoke one. And I was like, dude, I smoke 10 cigars a day.
I got this.
I got this. I smoked it, and I didn't get sick. But when I stood up, I was like, all right, I feel it.
Was you pairing it with anything, Rob?
No. Coffee.
Coffee, okay.
So, but let me tell you this. I didn't smoke another cigar for 6 hours
Sheesh.
because that's how much nicotine it had. I mean, I was
Wow.
like, I don't even want another cigar. And normally, when I lay a cigar down to let it go out, I'm already lighting up another one. So that cigar. So whenever I heard double Ajero on the Phoenix, I was kind of thinking that.
And Rob, this is a good segue to a question. So people get strength confused with high nicotine content.
Right. And there's two different.
Talk about that a little bit
Okay.
for everyone that's going to see this.
So whenever you think, I see nicotine strength and flavor strength. They're two completely different because I can smoke a medium cigar that's strong on flavors.
Right.
I can get all that pepper. I can get all that leather, and it's blasting you.
Right.
And I can dig that.
Yes.
But I don't need a nicotine bomb. Yeah, and then don't get me wrong though. There's some nicotine bombs that like Liebesue 1922. That is not a weak cigar.
Right.
That's got some nicotine to it.
Yeah.
But it's very balanced
Sure.
with the flavor and the amount of nicotine you get. And I'm cool with that.
Right.
I'm not going to smoke those one after the other, though.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's the difference. That's the
I'm going to
difference
go
that people don't
back
understand.
to a medium cigar because I'd like to keep the flavor profile almost like a roller coaster.
Right.
Up and down.
Yep. Some complexity.
And I'm to the point now in my cigar smoking. I've only been smoking cigars for about 12 years. And it took me a long time to get to the point where I didn't think that the nicotine bombs and the spice bombs were the great cigars.
Right.
Because, when you get to those, you're like, holy shit, this is what a cigar should be.
Right.
And then 2 years later, you're like, well, let me dive back into these.
And you can't taste shit.
Right. I ruined my palate for 2 years because that's all I smoked. But now I love a good Connecticut.
Sure.
I love a good medium Habano.
Right.
I love a medium plus San Andreas.
Yes.
So when you get to the point where you can enjoy all the cigars, dude, that's when cigar life gets good.
That is, and I think it's healthy for anyone out there. Your favorite cigar, maybe a Maduro or what have you. It is healthy for your palate to dance around because once those nerve endings go in your palate, they don't recover. They don't come back.
Right.
They're gone. So when you're burning yourself out on some of those spice bombs that's in the industry, and I'm not gonna say no names, you don't come back from that. So, man, just make sure that you have a good balance of what you're smoking, and that's what we try to offer at Definition Cigars. That's what we do. We're not big spice bomb guys. We're flavor guys first, even in the Maduros that you smoke. We flavor first. We obviously love some strength because we
You smoke a lot.
we're living in that Maduro side of things. But at the same time, we want to have flavor. We don't want to ruin palates.
Right.
You know, at the same time, we want to be able to talk and smoke and with
Like
the
I know
folks.
guys that smoke the LFD double Lajero stick after stick after stick, and I'm like,
Chain smoking
hey,
that.
that's cool for you if that's what you enjoy.
Man.
But I want to enjoy the complexity of a wide range of cigars versus just pounding in my palate. You know what I mean?
That's just right. That's what you're supposed to do, Rob.
Well, I mean, and that's what I think. But I also always go back to whatever floats your boat. If you like a good pounding, you're like a $2 hooker, then hey, knock yourself out.
So and facts, okay,
Right.
Like if that's your thing, but the responsible thing as a cigar company is to offer you the ability to.
Well, yeah,
dance
because
around.
you're looking at it at a different point of view.
Sure.
I want to offer people the plethora of options to where, and plethora is my favorite big word, by the way.
Hold on, plethora.
See there?
Doesn't that sound great coming off your tongue?
It does, plethora.
Yeah.
But if you offer a wide plethora of cigar profiles, you're offering something that anybody that has a niche will like.
Right.
But at the same time, you're giving guys an opportunity to try several different
There it
cigars.
is.
And that's what
That's
I
the hook.
love.
That's
That's
the
what
hook.
I love.
That's the hook. That's
Now,
the hook.
there's some guys out there that when they find your San Andreas, that's the cigar they're going to go to. For me, I like to dance around. I like to try this and that and this. And that's what I enjoy as a cigar smoker. And I know there's a lot of guys that like a one-hit wonder.
Right.
But I like the dance.
You said it though. You talked about the journey with cigars. So our hope is that if you like a Definition cigar, that as opposed to the one you like, that you may try another.
Right.
And that you may try another. And it becomes, because I honestly have never, even being a pup in smoking cigars, have subscribed to the fact of smoking the same cigar. If I happen to decide to smoke 5 cigars in a day, I don't want to smoke the same cigar 5 times.
No.
I want, even when I understood in Rob starting here and then getting here, but if I started here, where was the rest of my day going? You know, all that cigar stuff that you grab.
I'm a mood smoker.
So am I.
And my mood is when I wake up, I usually smoke my first cigar at 7 a.m.
Okay.
And I have coffee with that cigar. And I'm in a certain mood.
Sure.
So I don't want a double Lajero at 7 a.m.
Right.
I'm going to smoke a light medium to a medium between 7 and noon. And then once I get to noon, I've had 3 or 4 cigars.
Yep.
And now I'm
Now you
ready
take
to
that
go
step
from the
up.
medium to a medium plus.
Yep.
And now by the time the evening gets here, I might smoke a full-blown ass-kicker cigar.
Right.
Or I might revert back to something medium
Yep.
or less.
Depending
because
on how
I'll
long you're
have-
going to smoke for the
Right.
day, though.
And what I'm drinking.
And what you're drinking.
If I'm having an afternoon cup of coffee at 6 p.m., I'm going to have a medium to medium plus.
Right.
If I'm going to pour myself a bourbon, I might go for a medium plus to a full-blown.
Sure. Totally get, and that's our thought process.
Right.
So there's an obligation in having so many blends, right, and keeping so many different sizes, wrappers, and types of cigars. But we can't call ourselves Definition Cigars without giving you the full experience.
And if you don't offer options, how can I be the definition cigars? Because
Exactly.
if you're just giving me one option, that definition may not fit me.
Hey, Rob, if I'm just giving you Maduros, then I'm telling you what my definition is. And now you jump on the train.
Right.
I can't ask you what's your definition because I haven't given you a Connecticut.
Well, you're
I
not
haven't
giving me
given you an Habano.
options.
I haven't given you a Maduro. I haven't given you multiple wrappers with this type of binder filler. Let me tell
you something I'd like to see you guys do.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to give you a project that I would like to see come to fruition over the next 2 years. Because I know it's not easy.
Okay.
But I would love to see you
Don't say Dominican tobacco.
No.
Okay.
What I'd like to see is a Nicaraguan Maduro, barber poled with a Mexican San Andreas box press.
Did it. Didn't like it.
Whoa. You did it and you didn't like it. That doesn't mean you can't do it again and make it better.
Facts.
Because there's always room for improvement.
A Dominican box press.
No, I didn't say
barber pole.
Dominican.
I mean, a Nicaraguan box press barber pole.
With the San Andreas.
It can't be a barber pole. It's got to be San Andreas and what?
And a Nicaraguan Maduro.
Wow. Wow.
You see what I'm saying? 2 dark wrappers, but barber poled box press torpedo. Boom. Make it beautiful. Every cigar you guys make has been beautiful.
That is lightning in a
bottle. Dude, y'all make...
And Rob, if I produce this, then what?
Let's smoke it. Smoke it, brother. Let's all smoke it.
Rob, I'm going to try it.
Hey, I'm just throwing something out there.
I've got Nicaraguan, San Andreas. What type? San Andreas and what else type of wrapper?
A Nicaraguan Maduro.
You want
with
Nicaraguan Maduro?
Yes, something that's going to be bold, but then throw in that Mexican San Andreas so you get that spice on top of the Maduro, which is going to be bold but also sweet.
What about Ecuadorian Maduro?
Oh, I love Ecuadorian tobacco. I think it produces a certain spice that nobody else can make. So, but also though, that's why I think you should go with a Nicaraguan Maduro, because Nicaraguan Maduros are going to be more of your like bold but sweet, maybe a little chocolatey with a San Andreas spice.
Sure.
And then what you do in the middle, the binder and the filler, I don't give a shit.
It's got to be Nicaraguan,
you
though,
figure
right?
that out. You figure that out. But
it sounds like a fun task.
I think that would be something that would be special, because I don't know of any cigar that's already like that, but I think it could be beautifully made.
It could be, and the one thing that it's going to do, it's going to change colors.
Right, just a little bit. It's not
will.
gonna
No.
be-
As the age, not a whole lot. To your point, not a whole lot, but there's going to be some shades.
It's going to be beautiful,
as we call it, tiger stripes.
There you go. Yeah. So anyway, I'm not a cigar maker. I'm not a cigar
great
blender.
idea.
I just think it would be a magnificent when you take that cocoa, bittersweet cocoa flavor and add it with a Mexican San Andreas wrapper. You're like, wow.
Here's the beautiful thing about this conversation is that we're blessed enough to have the ability to try shit.
Hey, and you presented me with a pre-release. I would like one of those.
Fucking cigar.
Yes, sir. I can't. You know what? This has got me torn. Do I want to cut it and smoke it, or do I want to save it? And I'm not a saver. I'm not a saver.
Cut it. So here's what I'm going to do for you. There's levels to this shit. You cut it now, and then you smoke it today, and you talk about it, and then while we, let them season, more and more, I think they'll get better. But that Sumatra wrapper, is different. Chad and I smoked one on the way from Dallas to Abilene. Excuse me, I was going to say San Andreas. We didn't drive that damn long shit. To Abilene, and we was past Ranger. before the damn thing was ready to go out. It's a super slow burner.
I love that. I love a slow burner because I'm a naturally fast smoker. So a cigar that's a real slow burner lets me enjoy a cigar for an hour, hour and a half, to where most cigars that
you ain't got nothing in your cup though, dog.
Don't sell me short.
Okay.
Hey,
shit.
Hey, you're trying to sell me short. I've refilled 3 times since we started this conversation.
I didn't want to be that guy drinking up shit.
When you come to my place, be that guy.
May I get another poured in, Rob?
Whichever one you want.
Rob, your shirt says host for a reason.
Hey, how about the double oak? Have you had the double oak yet?
1 or 2 times.
All right, well, a 3rd time.
Boom. Where's Brian?
He is in Killeen, Texas, visiting family.
Okay, he didn't make it back.
No, I called. Here's the funny thing. I called him this morning at 9 o'clock, and I was like, "Hey, man, what time are you going to be here?" And he's like, "Dude, I just got up." And I was like, "At 9 o'clock?" I was like, "Dude, I've been up since 7."
Right, and you went what we like to call hard in the paint.
Yes, I did, and because that's how I normally go.
Okay,
I've always. Let me tell you something.
Tell them about last night, the energy last night. So we all get there, and there's.
Let me just preface this with Neo has got bourbon, Neo has got scotch, Neo's got some other liquor I don't know, and then y'all show up and Chad's got some rye, and I'm very particular on my rye because I don't like sweet rye. What kind of rye did you bring, Chad?
Whistle piggyback, 6-year age.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And so I'm real hesitant. Have you had the Angel's Share?
Angel's Share.
Or no. Angel, what's it called?
Angel's Envy. The rye, I love that shit.
I don't.
I'm a dry rye guy.
That is too sweet for me. For me.
We got to do it again.
For me.
Rob, we got to do it again.
Oh, I'm always up for a redo.
Rob, we got to do it again.
You remember what
we're going to stop by Pinky's on the way over there.
What do they say?
Shout out to Pinky's, Chad.
I want a do-over. I'm always up for a do-over. But let me tell you what, that piggyback, is that what it's called? Piggyback?
It's piggyback. It's Dude, a variation of
that
of
rye was fantastic.
And it's not the standard whistle pig.
Let me show this to everybody. This is good stuff.
That's not the standard. So whistle pig has that. It's like Padron. And the Padron 6,000, 7,000.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's on that end.
Well, let me tell you one thing. I respect any guy that shows up with a bottle to the studio.
Man,
you know what I mean?
You fucking with... Damn. That's my 5th one.
Now I'm going to have to bleep them out. So, anyway.
That's how we roll,
no, but, if you come to the studio... You see, we are not fucking around.
Right.
Oh,
there's
did
7.
you see we got the bamboo?
I see that. So Rob, here's the thing. Cigar etiquette, I don't believe, is standard to a shop. It's in you. It's how you move. It's how you approach the culture. It's how you look at what cigars and wherever you go. So in relation to us, when we come anywhere, whether it's a BYOB,
or if you
lounge,
come to the Cigar Talk studio,
or you
show up.
Like it's etiquette. Like we'll bring you cigar.
That's how we'll
feel. Share our libations with you.
That's how we feel.
We'll do X, Y, and Z. There is an approach that we come with. That's the definition way. That's the way.
Let me tell you what, Larry. You met Larry last night. Big, tall, 6'7" black dude.
Larry, man, that was about to put us to sleep.
Yeah. So. You know what me and Larry have established is...
Larry's super dope guy.
When we show up, all of our liquor is for whoever's back there.
That's us.
And you know what we call that? We belong to the first chapter of the We Ain't Fucking Around Club.
How many members are club?
Right now there's 5, but you're more than welcome to join.
Man, you got 5 others.
Now you got 5. Now we got 10.
We got 10.
Because we ain't. You know what I mean? When I buy a bottle of bourbon, this is not for me.
Yeah,
this is whoever wants to hang out and smoke cigars.
Yeah, Neil said it said it earlier, and I don't know if it's on camera or off camera, but Neil was like, man, you know, fucking around with your mom, you know, man, hey, man, strap him up.
Right.
I mean, there's, man, so again, we go about to talking about, man, the stuff with my grandfather and your dad, and it translates to moments for me.
Life is short, brother.
I live every day like it's my last.
Because life is short.
I always do.
How old was your granddad when he passed?
My granddad was 65, 66 years old.
My dad was 66. And you know what that taught me more than anything? Life's short.
Man.
Life's short. Do not let life pass you
66.
by without enjoying it.
66. So I'm 41. That's saying I got 15 summers
Dude, I'm
left.
52.
Listen, you got 14 summers left.
Wow.
Right. I mean, that's saying so.
Every day I want to enjoy it. If I don't enjoy a day, I missed something.
So, man, I'll share the story. On the way over here, me and Chad, and he's like, man, shit, you sure you want to smoke in the car? So in the car that we drive, he's like, man, you sure you want? I'm like,
Dude, you nailed it. You nailed it because that's my biggest thing.
man, we got 3 hours, dog.
If you are in a car and you're not smoking,
I'm like, dog, we got 3 hours. Like, I mean, we had great conversations. We had a moment in the car. Like, man, you know, I mean, I don't want to not enjoy today. I mean,
every day is a blessing. Enjoy
Man.
it, brother.
man,
Enjoy it.
especially from where I come from and my upbringing and how we come from to be able to man sit here with you, man. Like when this releases, man, people in my neighborhood are gonna be like, oh shit.
And you
Like,
know what I've already decided?
This is dope.
This has been so good getting to know you guys on the show that this isn't even going to be a regular show. This is going to be a special Definition Cigar release.
What can we do to make it even more special?
You know, I don't want to offend you,
Okay.
but I ain't had a blowjob in about 2 weeks.
So, hey Rob, I'm
Wow, this is a special episode.
Hey Rob, man, no disrespect to your wife, but if you
She's
happen
out of town.
you happen to find yourself in Dallas, Texas, my player partner Chad, make sure we get you straight.
No, man, but
Yeah, honestly.
honestly, on a serious level, you know, I talked to one of my Patreons earlier, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do 3 separate interviews with these guys, and we'll release like one week, wait
Part
2
one.
weeks, wait,
Yeah,
do another
sure,
one,
sure.
wait 2 weeks, do another one. So
I done probably talked too fucking long.
yeah, you're
My
way
bad.
over these guys.
I'm
But
sorry.
anyway, no, don't be sorry. So, but what I've decided is let's just release this as a special edition Definition Cigar Talk issue.
Let's get the people something though,
What do you want to do?
man. That's what we talking about. That's man. You know your Patreons.
The Light 'em Up crew.
The Light 'em Up crew. Light 'em Up crew. What's your definition?
So you know what? Let's do this. Let's
can
do
we
this.
do?
First of
What
all,
can we do for them people?
we're going to release this show first to just the Light 'em Up crew.
Light 'em
And
Up.
then we'll wait a week and release it to everybody else.
All right, what can we do for the Light 'em Up crew?
What do you want to do? You tell me,
Man.
brother.
I want to.
We got a lot of Light 'em Up crew members, so let's not
Okay.
go crazy. Maybe for the producers. Our producers are a special certain breed
Okay.
of the Light 'em Up crew. We have board meetings with these guys because they help us so much in shaping where Cigar Talk's going.
Okay.
I have board meetings with these guys at least once a month, sometimes twice a month, where we do a video chat. And those guys, man, they are instrumental to the success of Cigar Talk.
So
So what do you want to do for those guys?
we're getting ready to release a new Definition Cigars T-shirt. We call it the seal.
The seal.
It is the armor. It is the it is the Definition Cigars thing. We'll be wearing it this summer. How about we do that for those guys for cost?
Awesome, man. Awesome. You know what? I've got a special website that's only accessible to the Light 'em Up crew, and we'll put those on there.
And we'll send them to you, and then you distribute them how it makes sense, and we'll talk about that. But we'll do it for the same cost that it costs to produce the T-shirt.
You will do cost for you guys to them. Awesome,
that's
man.
We'll
awesome, dude. I appreciate that. They appreciate it because, dude, I got a special group of guys.
Right.
And I mean, if you don't know how many times, like, I'll be like calling them up on my Discord server, be like, hey, Z, what do you know about this? What do you think about this?
Right.
Or, hey, Groot, what do you think about this? Or, you know, I mean, these guys are just instrumental. I got a guy named Jax Rocks. I talked to that guy. He has so much insight for me, and it's like these guys are just such an important part of Cigar Talk that it's like I've got a panel of people that can give me great information.
And Rob, that's dope. So this is intentional, us being here.
Oh yeah.
You know, you get asked from all types of talking bobbleheads to be on stuff, right? But what you do, you and I had a one-on-one conversation. I see the energy behind what you do, and it's organic, I believe.
Well, you know what's funny is I don't consider myself to be a huge energy guy. I just consider myself to be a laid-back, transparent guy.
You are.
Although Neo thought I was kind of
Rob, it's funny that you say that because your energy is high. In a room, you are what we call a person that gives. You're not looking to receive anybody else's energy there. And some people need that to be able to be comfortable in the room. Some people, so what I mean is a person comes into the room not really comfortable. They need to feel Chad, come over and talk to him, make them feel comfortable, Neo, and yourself. And then they become comfortable. They need energy.
Okay, well, that part, you're right. I don't need...
You do not need energy.
I have my own.
You have your own. And that's important, especially in a cigar, in a lounge. Hey, Rob, that is so important that a person comes with their own energy, especially when they have a platform that they come with. So you don't come in there with this bullshit pretentiousness that, hey, I'm Cigar Talk Rob. Come talk to me.
Dude, I don't even tell people that I have a podcast.
I'm just saying, but it's the facts, though.
When I go to the lounge, like there's certain guys at the lounge, they don't even know I have a show. But Rob,
it's the facts. It's the facts. You're being humble right now. You're being. It is the fucking facts.
Yeah, it is.
It is just the facts.
But I don't look at myself as up here.
Nor should you.
I look at myself as being part of the group.
That as do we. But
right.
But we are handed the baton. So if we're doing a 4x100 meter relay race,
that ain't me.
Rob, in terms of cigars, it is. When you smoking 10 cigars a fucking day.
Let me tell you something. When I was in high school, I ran the 400 meters.
You ran the long lap.
Who
does that?
Let me tell you something. You know what was pissed me off, though, about that?
The last 200.
No.
Oh, okay.
I was the only white guy on the fucking team, and I wasn't going to the meets. I was just at practice. You know what I'm saying?
So if somebody pulled a hamstring, you like, man, let's plug in Rob.
Right. And so I'm running a 50.
Rob's the rabbit.
I'm running a 51, okay?
Right, I get it.
Everybody else on the team's black. They're running 48s, 49s. Mm-hmm. Why did I got to run? I was on the football team. I don't even want to run.
Rob, why do they have the backup tight end? You're in there to fucking block.
Right.
Dude, you're not in there to catch passes.
But I didn't want to run the 400. I wanted to run the 100. You know what I mean?
Was you fast enough?
No.
Well, shit. Your wants and desires sometimes don't align, dog.
Hey, let me tell you something. The coach said, hey, man, I noticed you ain't been coming to practice for about 3 weeks.
He's like, man, I'm a realist about this shit.
Hey.
Right? Sometimes shit just don't add up.
Right.
So
So Debbie over here is telling us we're running over time.
We are running over time, man.
All right.
What's the last question? Hold on.
So my last question for you is,
damn, hey Rob,
I don't even know what time.
you know
it
it's
is.
13 minutes to the fucking show.
Holy crap!
Rob.
You got to get down to the leaf.
Rob, man, this is what it's about, though. We gonna get down there.
Okay.
Hey, Neo, you mind reaching out to Jay? Just let him know that we're running a little bit over.
Tell him. Cigar Talks captured you guys.
Tell him Rob's got 6 butt naked honeys over here.
And a lot of bourbon.
What's the question of the hour?
Let me ask you this: going into 2021,
Yeah,
you're finally out of the pandemic stage.
right.
You guys are now getting out and being face to face with people.
Right.
With your background and your experience, what's that mean to you? I mean, getting able to see the people cutting light cigars with the people who support your brand, what's that mean to you, man?
Man, Rob, I mean, I ain't gonna get emotional in front of these two dudes right here. But
Hey, y'all get out. No, I'm just
man,
kidding.
it is. Oh man, it's everything. Man, I had a guy this morning send a DM that he was smoking one of our cigars for the first time, and 45 minutes later, he was like, "Man, you got a customer for life."
And I understand that. I do, because I get emails all the time with guys that tell me that they just found Cigar Talk and they've just started going back and listening to all our other episodes. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, what a humbling thing. It's like, you know what? I'm just doing what I enjoy.
Thank you.
I mean, that's what it is.
That's it.
And if I can bring some knowledge to somebody, if I can bring a laugh to someone, if I can bring a new bourbon or a new cigar to someone, that brings joy to me.
Man.
And so when you have a line of your own cigars and someone guy sends you a message and say, "Hey,
Rob.
I found your cigars
Talk to me.
and they're blowing me away."
Man.
You've got a customer for life.
Yeah, 2021 is about that. We've seen exponential growth. In the start of 2021, we released 3 cigars, the 919, the Phoenix, and the Walking Stick. In the first 3 months, and it was intentional. We held cigars at the end of 2020, to launch 2021 in a specific way, but growth is always there. You want to continue to grow because we want to continue to see what.
Now, Neo told me you're the numbers guy. I don't know exactly what that means, but I get an idea of that's the logistics. Mm-hmm. How do you prepare for growth? How do you prepare to? Because let me put this to you. LFD used to be one of the premier top line cigars. I don't consider them to be that anymore.
Right.
Alec Bradley was a premier deliverer of great cigars. 2 of these great companies had a logistical nightmare hit when they had cigars named number 1 with Cigar Aficionado. They were not, and I don't know if you can be ready whenever Cigar Aficionado names you as number 1.
Right.
But let's take that back. Cigar Aficionado is not naming you guys number 1. I hope that someday they look at you guys and get you in the top 25. But let's look at that scenario.
Rob, this is an awesome segue, by the way.
When you hit growth, you can't stay where you are right now because it's going to make you suffer quality-wise. Yeah. How do you stay on top of the quality with the exponential growth? Because if you don't do your background homework, what's going to happen? And if I'm going to be on, I'm on your bandwagon.
Right.
I'm on your bandwagon.
Right.
So what I want to make sure is when you guys exponentially grow, that you are prepared logistically to make the segue into going into quality and not losing the quality because you're growing too fast.
That is 100. Man, Rob, I'm glad. Honestly, I'm glad that you asked that question because it's been a conversation over the past
I'm glad to know that's a conversation going on.
That has been a conversation.
Because if you're not having that conversation, you're not going to be ready.
Right. So, are you familiar with an artist by the name of Wale?
I am not.
So, Jerry Seinfeld.
I do know who Jerry Seinfeld is.
Jerry Seinfeld narrated an album by a hip hop artist by the name of Wale.
No way.
Back about 3 or 4 years ago, and one of the narration moments inside of the album, Jerry Seinfeld talks about growth, but it was growth in terms of a relationship with a man and a woman. But in terms of our relationship with cigars and definition, it was applicable. So Jerry Seinfeld said in a nutshell that you're never ready for growth. Growth is growth. Growth is you growing. You cannot prepare for growth. You cannot imagine what that growth is going to look like. It's called growth for a reason. The definition of growth is growing, expanding, being different than how you were before. So our preparation in growing is around making sure that we have a solid infrastructure to meet demand. Now, today, as I sit right here, are we prepared? No. I spoke with you, and I'm so transparent to my heart that we have had to let customers know, and it's all about communication as well.
Absolutely.
Where we at? There's some prominent cigar companies that I am well aware of that do not have any problem telling the customer, you order it. So at the show, for instance, in 2019, I was out there, doing my homework. There was prominent cigar companies that were saying that in 2019 in July, you're making this order, you won't get it until October.
Right.
That's
just the way it is.
That's just the way it is. How definition doesn't strike out on that one shot that we get for the lounge to put cigars there is that there's a financial obligation to our customers to ensure efficiency and effectiveness and on-time service that we're looking to do and will do and are prepared to execute. There's also our distribution and supply chain as far as our cigars. So all of our cigar bands are made in Dallas, Texas.
Nice.
This is not something that's done at the factory. We have a super great relationship with a company out of Boston, Massachusetts that produces these bands, but they're all made for our cigars in Dallas once they get to us. So there's a network there, and we're making that stronger. We are investing in our humidification system so that we have a platform that is wider to be able to have ready finished product for shipping for our customers to get there sooner and faster, so that we don't have to say, hey, there's a 72-hour minimum or there's a 96-hour minimum, whatever it is. We are doing things today to improve what you have grown to know from Definition Cigars, Rob. So those are the things that we're already talking about, because it's a real live thing here, and we're investing the dollars that you spend on our cigars. We're investing back into the company. We're not out here, buying cars or looking flashy or doing all that.
Let me tell you something.
We are investing it back in the company.
Let me tell you something. You know what? I think that is such an important part of any business, and that's how we do it at Cigar Talk. Like, if you think I'm taking money to do this,
right,
I'm putting all the money back in the show. And I don't know how everyone else does it, and I don't care. I know that if I want to continue to grow and continue to be here and keep doing things that nobody else is doing, I got to keep pouring whatever does come in right back into the garden.
Yep.
Keep it growing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so that makes me very happy to know that you guys are looking at that and saying, this is what we got to do.
Sure.
Because if we want to enjoy the prosperous part that we've been through now, then you're already screwed.
Right.
So that tells me that you're looking long term. And if you're not looking long term, even though I love what you make now,
Sure.
I can't be part of what you're doing if you're not looking long term.
Rob, what did I tell you last night?
I don't remember.
And that's
I'm going to be transparent with you.
our foundation, our company statement, our company motto, and what keeps us grounded as a 5 and keeps us grounded with our customers is that we provide a great cigar at an affordable price for the people.
Right.
So before we start taking ownership draws out of the company, if we're not able to satisfy great cigar, affordable price for the people, we can't do anything else.
Right.
We can't.
That's
not who we are.
It won't last.
It won't
either.
last because that is the foundation of why we are having the ability to talk to you right now. Is because that was what we birthed this company
even
from.
when I talked to you a couple of months ago, I heard that message. And if I didn't hear that message, you wouldn't be here right now. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because if you're not looking long term, then you're just a here today, gone tomorrow type company.
Right,
and
yeah.
there's a ton of those out there.
There are.
They're trying to get a cash grab and then they're out.
Then they're out.
But that's not what you guys are looking for.
Rob,
you
I
guys
think they're trying to
here.
get me and you off the microphone.
Man, I keep hearing people tell us, "Hey, you're running over. You're running over."
Debbie,
hey guys,
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you so much for the mentality that you guys are bringing to the cigar industry. We appreciate that in the community. And we want to thank you for offering the Definition Cigar t-shirts to our Patreons at cost. And we would just say thank you so much for being here in Abilene, Texas. We want to thank you for being part of the Leaf community, because for me and Bryant, the Leaf is our home shop.
Right.
And that's where we want our time and efforts to be spent. And we love venturing out to other shops, but just the fact that you guys are coming here and doing a cut and light means a lot to us. So thank you for that. And thank you for coming and being on the show.
We appreciate it. What's your definition?
Boom.